Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we actually have some pretty cool news to go and showcase, which is like the golden words all put together, strung together, where we're now actually seeing kind of the decline once again of general scalpers. Now, as you guys have probably seen a lot when it comes to GPUs, when it comes to even Switches at a point, PlayStations, Xboxes, there was a really big plague when it comes to scalping. Now, this is actually still a pretty big and pretty prominent issue we've been seeing everywhere, and for some odd reason, there is still an uptick in prices when it comes to a lot of these consoles, a lot of these just general products. And that stinks, but it does kind of seem like these scalping waves are getting shorter and shorter. Their price points in these like huge exponential charts too as well are again like a little teeny tinier, and on top of it, it does seem like a lot of interest is finally going and swaning away. So we actually have a really intriguing article over here discussing the fact of, well, scalpers are finally going and calming down. People really don't want to be paying these extra prices, especially as the economy kind of goes a little bit more and more down too as well. And it just seems like some golden news for anyone who is out there, PC or console, as a gamer as a whole. So we're going to talk about this, talk about the run-throughs, and talk about the fact that I still wish this would happen for consoles, and we'll just go and talk about a bunch of random stuff. So before we fully dive on in, make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on, as well for the brand new PlayStation 5 $500 or Xbox Series X giveaway. You guys all get to go pick and choose if you win. We have the Twitter and Twitch ring down below to get those bonus entries. Go and do it. Follow those on up. And of course, as well, we have a bunch of Amazon links for PS5s, for consoles, for Black Friday, Cyber Monday deals, and everything in between. So as we've been mentioning, there's been a lot of big kind of hold up and downplaying when it comes to basically people trying their best to make profit and make money. Now, we've kind of still been seeing this on some certain products, like I'm going to be using a highlight over here from the 4090 GPUs that just recently came out. Now, as you guys can probably see, when they first initially came out over here now around October, we saw a pretty big price bump, around $2,700 per GPU. But thankfully, because we had I think a lot of these bigger retailers like Nvidia, AMD, Sony, Xbox, Nintendo probably will be a little bit more extra cautious and make a little bit more extra stock, and maybe even delay out some of these deals for an extra maybe month or two as they keep on building up stock. But as you guys can see, the prices dropped pretty quickly. With only about like a 2-week period, it went from $2,700 on release down to as low as under $2,000. Now, I would still say these GPUs should not be paying that much extra above MSRP, and I think a lot of other folks are kind of in the same boat, which is why thankfully it does seem like they're moving on. So this kind of tapered around $1,900, just only a few week period. And then obviously with the holidays coming around, Black Friday deals, it kind of went back to $2,500 and had a little bit of a spike down. Now, we're kind of probably expecting how they've done the same thing with consoles, have a pretty big spike up for November, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and then Christmas. And then after that whole little holiday season's done, down in January, we'll probably see more of an average price point, probably back to a little bit under $2,000 as we saw already over these past few weeks. So like, a holiday bust, people get bonuses, people want to get presents, they want to splurge and get something nice for themselves. It makes sense. But that's kind of why it goes into this other even better article, where it seems like basically these scalpers are just not getting as many sales, not selling as much on eBay, Facebook, StockX, or whatever, and it does seem to show that the 4080 is almost kind of getting like a step back from all these crazy third-party sellers. So starting off here with saying it's good news for most of us today, but not for scalpers. Normally when Nvidia launches a new graphics card, it's all chaos and the GPU is out of stock for a while after the initial release date. Scalpers are to blame for that, at least in part, because they buy out the GPUs and then send them back into the wild at an elevated price. This happens in the case of both the RTX 4090 and the RTX 4080 as well. So however though, the RTX 4080 doesn't seem to be quite as popular of a pick as an Nvidia flagship. So based on the eBay sales data, scalpers actually might be struggling to make even a profit on these new GPUs, and the GPU market as a whole might have something to go and do with it. So it kind of seems like we're at least taking one more step back, kind of almost stopping a lot of the scalping. We still have it for these consoles, but this is like another big first step. Seems like Xbox is out, looks like GPUs are almost out, and the last major one is just that PlayStation 5, which will hopefully be done soon, and we just walk into stores all the time and get it. Now, Nvidia's RTX 4080 was released just last week, and of course, both regular users and scalpers were ready to buy the GPU the moment it hit the market. However, when a new Nvidia GPU first drops, it will often have inflated prices and scarce availability, as I kind of showed you guys in that chart for a while. This time around, though, the GPU is readily available at online retailers such as Newegg and Amazon. Now, it hasn't been fully 100% in stock, but at the same time, they've been in active stock quite a bit more longer. Now, some of these are like still not bad price points, but they're kind of like, they're not like the full-on proper MSRP, but in theory, you can still go get one if you guys want to. You know, it's like, it's there, it's good. It's not fully proper, like, you know, you walk into Micro Center all the time and get it, but like, it's pretty good. Like, that's pretty good in my mind, availability. So the prices depend on the model. There are some crazy options priced at $2,400 and above, which is why I was kind of saying, like, they're available, but still kind of third-party slash like big business resellers and above. But there's also then cards near MSRP, which is what you're looking for, that are available from regular retailers as opposed to just scalpers, you know, people on eBay, Facebook, StockX. The seemingly lower interest in the GPU is sure to take a hit on scalpers, which is also maybe just a bigger demand of stock, or more of a smaller demand of stock because they had bigger supply of stock, is what I meant to say, is that maybe they just had a bigger influx and they kind of knew, like they kind of did a staggered release of 4090s and then the 4080s, so maybe they just were building up bigger stock and making sure that, you know, kind of almost like evaluating on the spot to see. So it basically does seem like it's going to be taking a huge hit on scalpers who usually want these. They don't want to wait online. They don't want to look on Amazon. They don't want to wait, you know, for a few weeks, months to get their consoles. And that's where scalpers kind of basically work. So Tom's Hardware looked into the sales number on eBay, and the platform is that scalpers go to. And while these numbers won't tell them the full story, they still speak volumes about the kind of hype the scalpers can be counting on as far as the RTX 4080 goes. So according to the data, the RTX 4080 is not selling well at all on eBay, which is great because we just want normal retailers selling it or even having a cheaper price point, because sometimes trying to buy these GPUs for $1,000+ is not good. Like, no one wants to spend that extra money on that. So basically, they're saying that the flagship is outselling the RTX 4080 3.4 to 1, and only 8 RTX 4080s per day are being sold in the US. So that does seem a little bit lower though too, but don't forget we have other retailers, you know, Best Buy, Amazon, GameStop, whatever it might be. So it's the first week since the launch of the card, so we can compare that to the RTX 4090, which sold around 64 units per day during its first week. On average, an RTX 4080 sold on eBay cost around 30% more than the recommended list price, which is insanely high. No wonder no one wants to buy it, and that's why scalpers are probably not going to be on these GPUs for that long. So in contrast, though, the 4090 skyrocketed to around the 54% over MSRP during the first week of sales. As it stands now, scalpers are not making much of a profit on the RTX 4080, which is good news. The end of these scalpers, like, they're still there. They're still trying to make it happen. But when there's more general availability, that means people would probably rather buy from a reputable retailer, you know, Walmart, Amazon, Micro Center, Newegg, whatever, Amazon. And then on the same reverse side, like, if you're not making profit and the demand's not there, and it takes you a few weeks to sell it, you're not going to want to buy 50, because what if you just never actually sell all 50 of these cards? So basically the 4080, they're just not making a lot of profit. The RTX 4090 is doing better than its younger sibling, though. Both cards were expensive and arguably overpriced. I'd probably agree with that in all honesty from the get-go, but given the pricing of the RTX 4080, the RTX 4090 can be viewed as a better deal, even though it's more expensive. If anything, the launch of the 4080 might be actually pushing more people to buy even the 4090, which is funny. It's kind of like you could either buy an Xbox Series X or S. Some folks might be like, I'll push the extra money, get the X. It's going to last longer, more efficient, save me some money. You know, at the end of the day, why not? So on the other hand, though, perhaps people just don't want to buy GPUs right now. And it also kind of seems kind of true, too, because a lot of the GPU sales have been kind of going down a decent bit. And we even saw that on the prior, like, tail end of the last gen of, like, the 3000 series cards, where, like, some of them were even going on sale at places like Micro Center and other various spots, which at the same time makes sense. Like, it just, like, people just didn't want to pay the extra money, and it's hard sometimes to go and justify $2,000+ on some of these GPUs, and that's why I think scalpers just aren't doing so well, because it's hard. Like, people don't have that much money all the time to keep on investing, and some people who do may be okay waiting, or if they do, they'll buy it on the first 1 or 2 weeks because they really want it, and then 6 months later, it's just normal retail pricing at the end of the day. So the sales of graphics cards, both integrated and discrete, have actually dropped by 10% quarter to quarter, and a massive 25% year over year. And sales of desktop GPUs dropped from 15.43%. The worst drop of all affected the shipments of notebook GPUs with a 30% decrease. So as you guys can kind of go and see, like, it's kind of good for the general consumers, bad for, I guess, overall consumer data and scalpers, which I think is good for the anti-scalping side. So give me your thoughts and comments. Now, we still need to wait for consoles to get to this point, which is almost there, but it does seem like everything is almost returning to normal. So give me your thoughts and comments down below, and as well, make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on as well for the $500 PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series X giveaway. Twitter and Twitch room down below for bonus giveaway entries and all the other sellout links down below. And I appreciate you guys all so much for watching here in the first place.